Hollywood is a strange, strange place. Now, I was sitting here. I get up early these mornings. It's like 6:20 in the morning. And I sit here for a minute and I think about stories to tell. And somebody in the comments had said, "Are you gonna tell any stories about Hollywood and playing?" And it seems like in this business, everything is kind of the playing is the easy part when it gets down to it. As musicians, we often joke that we don't get paid to play. We just get paid to travel and deal with the nonsense, right? But, and a lot of the nonsense that happens, a lot of the things, the stories that are interesting and people want to hear are the behind the scenes moments, the wacky, weird things that happen, right? Now, when I was first getting started in Hollywood, I needed to find people to play with, right? And, there was one time where I got called and it was a, top 40 band, traveling top 40 band, good money, yada, yada, yada. And it gave me some address at a motel. It was like a Motel 6 outside north of the city, And so I drove, and I must have drove like 40 minutes north. I don't remember exactly where, but I got into this Motel 6, and I get into the room, and it's a middle-aged couple that's in their 40s with two kids, and they're in this Motel 6 hotel room, and the two kids are jumping up and down on the bed. I'm kind of like, what is going on? And the woman was like, an older woman, someone you didn't feel like, and I know people have to survive, and now I've got kids, and I've played gigs and all that. But, I was in Hollywood. I was 19 years old, and I'm not thinking I'm going to show up, and all of a sudden I'm like some kid's uncle, on the gig. So I get in there, I bring my amp in, I bring my guitar, and he starts calling off tunes. Play My Girl, and at that time I hadn't played a lot of those songs. I hadn't really learned I listened to it, but I don't know if I'd ever played that song. But I followed along and played the part. He kind of, okay, play this part, and So I'm in this hotel room, and I'm playing and maybe even singing the song. And the wife is coming in and out, and the kids are jumping up and down on the bed. And, I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on? And the guy goes, okay, thanks. We'll give you a call, And I get back to my crappy apartment, the same apartment that a famous legendary guitar player had been found dead in the pool. And I get a call the next day. "Oh, we want you to come out with us. We're leaving tonight, and all this." Man, I just didn't answer the phone. I was kind of shell shocked from that. And so, the search continues, right? So then I answered an ad for a guitar player to play a showcase, and I think it was supposed to be at like Carlos and Charlie's, which was, I believe at the time, it was some place like that. It was some swanky a place that used to be really busy, and seemed like it was like a upscale thing. So it might not have been a Carlos and Charlie's, but it was something like that. and in a place where I didn't even realize, but they have showcases there. Like, so I answer the call. It's this girl, you know, and I walk. It was like walk down Hollywood Boulevard, and it was like walking distance from where I was in Hollywood. So I walked down to this girl's apartment, and, you know, she seemed all right. You know, she was nice enough, and the apartment was okay, and, you know, and all this. And she starts telling me all about this. Oh, this showcase is going to be great. I'm going to have all these record labels there, and, you know, and starts, you know, give me the whole spiel. She's selling me on this gig. And I'm thinking, oh, this could be all right. She seems nice. You know, you know, what could be wrong with this? I'm thinking, this might be a cool thing to do, right? So she goes, here's my music. And she hands me a cassette, and it was a cassette, you know, one of those printed out cassettes. So she had spent some money on this. And the cover had her like in a bridal outfit, like, you know, Madonna in like a virgin, but, you know, this big, like, elaborate lace and all this. And it was like something like a proposal for David. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting, right? So she goes, well, I'll put the first song on. I got to go to the restroom, and I start opening up the cassette, and it's like a wedding proposal to David Lee Roth. And as I'm listening to the music, and of course, at this point, I'm hearing it. Oh, this is bad. This is like embarrassingly bad. And I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm looking at the liner notes and the, you know, the stuff inside, and it's like crazy stalkerish, like David Lee Roth fangirl. I don't even know what to expect, but I'm sitting there, and I know my time is limited to get out of there, because she had sold me on it so much that I had said, yeah, this sounds cool. I'll do it. And I wasn't experienced enough that I needed to listen to the music first. So she's in the other room, and I just decide, I got to get out of here. This is crazy. And I literally sneak out the front door and just take off. I just took off. It was just too insane. Now, as far as, you know, playing those interim gigs, you know, before I got the, you know, before I got into the Strip and was playing gigs, I answered another call. And this was a call to put together a band to play on a cruise ship. And I'm thinking, well, I've always heard cruise ships, you know, was good money. And I'm thinking, you know, this would be, you know, I'd be able to get on this ship. I mean, I just wanted to play. I just wanted to keep playing. I wanted to play professionally. So I answer this ad. I go down to this rehearsal facility, and I want to say it was definitely in Hollywood, and it was on a little side street, and it looked like it would maybe have been a motel, and it had like, I don't know, 6 or 7 rooms, or 8 or 9, 10 rooms, and man, this place was rough. Like it was a super rough rehearsal hall. This is the kind of place where, you know, Guns N' Roses or a really, really like, you know, heavy, sleazy rock band would rehearse. But we're in there, and I meet this guy, Al Morgenstern. And he's got this singer from Temecula that he brought with him. They're both from Temecula, and I think they may have had a drummer maybe from down there, but they needed a guitar player to try to get on this cruise ship gig. So we get there and we run a few songs, and I think he maybe told me, before I come down there, hey, we're gonna do like 4 songs. So learn these songs. And I go down there and we rehearse the songs, and then they bring in this, I don't know, she must have been in her mid-80s. This woman who was supposedly, booked people on cruise ships. So she comes in, and, we were okay, we weren't, it wasn't like the best band I'd ever played in, but, I thought, hey, this is good enough for any cruise ship, and this 85-year-old woman comes in, and so we play our songs, and it's just okay. And we're in this really crappy rehearsal facility, and probably a terrible PA. There's carpet, like stained carpet on the walls. And we played our thing, and she said, okay, well, I'll give you a call, Al, and we didn't get the gig, okay? And, but I did make a contact with Al Morgenstern. And Al, rest in peace, he eventually owned a big sound company in Southern California. And he was a guy that was just always hustling. So he ended up getting me some gigs down in Temecula and some other little like bar gigs kind of, south of LA. And, he was a guy that got me started in Hollywood. And Al was a good guy. And, I still lived in Hollywood, even though I would commute down there for weekends to do these little gigs and stuff like that. And Al knew that I needed a job in Hollywood, and that really probably that was where I needed to be. So he was the one that got me the job at the pawn shop in Hollywood, which I have just incredible stories about. Now, the time in Hollywood, working at that pawn shop, there's going to be more killer stories from that time. And there's one I'm going to have to do some research because, it ended tragically, this one player, but we used to get the horn players for Earth, Wind, and Fire in there all the time. And I'm going to do a story about the legendary Don Myrick, who, rest in peace, met, a very tragic ending. But it's all encapsulated in my Hollywood experience. So people ask for some Hollywood stories. These are just the beginning stories of getting my start out there. And if you consider becoming a member for this channel, because I to be honest, a lot of these Hollywood stories, I'm not going to be able to put on YouTube. So until I decide to put together a Patreon page, you might consider becoming a member of this channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.